We're at the Dayton Dirt Riders Club grounds in Dayton, Ohio for an observed trials event. For those of you who are unfamiliar with observed trials, it's a different kind of competitive event. First, classes are determined by rider ability only. There are no classifications for different size motorcycles. Second, speed is not a factor. There are 6 to 8 observed sections, and each one is ridden several times. Here go the riders towards the first section. There are signs, expert, advanced, intermediate, novice, and beginner, that point different ways at different places in the section. So the actual route that the riders follow is dependent on their level of ability. This is one of the more advanced riders, so he has to follow a more difficult course through the section. As riders make their way through a section, the observer subtracts points when the rider puts one or both feet down or has what they call a failure. Now, the way that these events are scored is that each time a rider puts a foot down like that, that's called a dab. And dabs cost the rider 1 point for up to 3 dabs. Then, if they put both feet down, which is called paddling, that's also good for 3 points. And a failure, where they completely stall out or have to get off the bike, is 5 points. If they don't attempt a section, that's 10 points. Now you can see this rider here. This is one of the expert riders, and he has stopped. He hops the back wheel around to get in a better position. Stopping is completely legal. You notice he has not put his foot down. There, he checked his gear, make sure he's in the right gear before going up the hill. Hops the back wheel to get a better alignment again. And there he goes up the hill. You'll see this particular rider a number of times in this program, and he takes his time, contemplates each move very carefully, and it's completely legal in a trials to stop. Also, there's no time limit. You just have to ride each section the prescribed number of times within about a 4-hour period. You can see the observer standing there with his fist up in the air. He's not holding up any fingers because this rider has still got a perfect score for this section, which is called cleaning the section. And there he made it up over that big rock. Okay, now this is another section. Rider has to go over the rocks. And there he had to put his foot down to make a turn. Notice, when he put his foot down to make the turn, he planted it very firmly because he knew that he was going to have to do that in order to keep from falling over. So he pivoted on that foot and made a turn. So it only cost him 1 dab. Now this is one of the novice riders. You can see his route is different. He's allowed to go around the rocks. And he just goes up that little hill and out of the section. Now this is a more difficult section here. This rider, though, is an intermediate, and he gets to take the easy route. He doesn't have to go over that big log up there. Except this one last time, right there. And he put his foot down once. That's 1 dab. Okay, here's one of the better riders. You can see he has to go up over the log. So far, so good. Now he has to make a tight turn. And he has to go over the log again. And he has to make a real tight turn right after the log, so he's very carefully lining himself up and getting ready. Here we go. So he goes over there. Now he has to make a very quick turn. And there's a tree. You can't see it hardly. It's way off to the left side. There he had to put his foot down. He has to go over the log again, and he put his foot down again. That's 2 dabs so far. And he has to go back over the log again. Put his foot down again. That's 3. And he stalled his motor out. But that's still only one. So that particular movement was only 1 dab. There's a couple more dabs, but up to 3, above 3 dabs, there's no difference. So he got a score of 3 on that one. Okay, here comes another advanced rider. And he puts his leg up. He lost his balance there. Okay, so that was 1 dab. Now he has to go over both of those logs and come down this hill and turn around. This is what the experts have to do. This is the toughest route. So he gets turned around, gets as much room as he can, then he has to go over and he gets hung up on the log. Now remember, putting your feet down, you can't get more than 3 points lost for that. He did make it through the section. Now here's our top-notch expert rider again. See how easily he goes over that log. And he hops the front end, gets back a little bit so he has a little more room for that turn.
It was a real trip getting set up to get back down on the log. Huh? Thank you.
Comes over the log again. Then he makes the tight turn to get around that tree. Then back over the log again. And then he comes down and he turns around. And he'll have to go over both of those logs. So off the front end, there we go, just hops right over there. Now he'll come down here, make his U-turn. It's a little muddy out here today, and it's very overcast and very humid, and everybody's wondering if it's going to start raining. Hops that back wheel around a little bit. Wants to get in as good a position as possible, because when he gets over that first log, he has to make a quick turn and then go over 2 more logs. This is a very difficult section. Trying to get just in the right position. There we go. He comes up over that log. He comes down and lifts the front wheel, gets over that log, and then he has to make 1 more quick turn. Get the front end straightened out a little bit. There we go. And he makes it over, and he has cleaned that section. Okay, now we're in yet another section. This one, there's a little rocky creek bed, and they have to go up and down the banks of the creek. There he goes back through the creek again, up the other side. Then he has to go over a log, and then up another bank. Make a turn. You can see the arrows on the trees pointing different ways for different classes of riders. And he comes up the bank again. This is a rather long and convoluted section. He has to go over this big log. Makes it over there. he has to go back over the log again. And over a little one. And one more, and he is done. That was a good ride. It's interesting to see the different styles. This rider, oops, he put his foot down. That's one dab. 2 dabs. He rides at a much brisker pace than some of the other riders. Probably feels that the momentum helps him get through things. Whoa! Put his foot down again. That's 3. He doesn't have to worry now. He's already got a 3, so he can be more careful to avoid falling over, which would get him 5 points. Here we're back at the second section again, going over the rocks. He's probably up to about 3 points by now. Here comes our expert rider again. You can see how easily he goes over those rocks. Very careful. Pulls the front end back so he doesn't hit the tape at the edge of the course there. And he goes over that third rock and very easily makes that last turn. It's legal to hit the course markers as long as you don't move them in such a way that they have to be repositioned. Okay, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, 4, but he's just lost 3 points so far.
Got the 3 already, they won't make it. Nothing graceful.
There you go. Wasn't too bad, was it? You'll get it the next time.
I got it that time.
You'll get it clean the next time.
This rider has a nice, confident style, good degree of skill. You can see he pretty easily gets over that rock. Nice ride.
Good ride. Very nice. Very nice.
You're the first one today.
Okay, this is back at the third section with the big log. This is from up at the top. You can see he's thinking it over here, trying to figure out how to get the best position when he's over the top. Now you can see he had to put his foot down, get around that one tree.
Oh, not again.
And now
I stalled it in this section last time.
You're not
we've got a crisis.
I've done this in the garage.
He's stalled his engine, but he hasn't put his foot down. If he can get his engine restarted, if he can balance just right, he can flip the
I'd go pull his starter out.
kickstart lever out. There we go. And he can get it started. Pretty slick.
Damn. Good ride. Good ride.
So even though he stalled his engine, he got through that section with one dab. Okay, here's our expert rider again. Same section from the top. Now he has to make the U-turn, get back over the log. He's turning around now. Has to pull the front wheel back there to get around that tree. That's what that other fellow couldn't do. He gets over that log with no problem. The tires on these bikes are not even full knobby tires like you find on motocross and enduro bikes. So they don't get as good a traction. You can see there he had to put his foot down. You can see the tires sliding on the ground a little bit with the wet leaves and mud. Now look at his back tire. Now he gets hung up on the lug. See the back tire? It is very soft. He's only running a few pounds per square inch of pressure. And that gives the tire a better grip because it conforms to the surface of the ground better. All of these riders run very low tire pressure. You know, this fellow here is pretty aggressive. He goes fairly fast for a trials rider. Hops that front end around, gets right across the log there, puts his foot down one time. Gets over that obstacle without any trouble. Now he has to make his turn. It's about a 270-degree turn. And he tries to go up and over. Now, if he had tried to go further to his right, he would have had room to make another quick little turn, and his front wheel wouldn't have come down right on that other log. We're in another section now. This section, they go up a little creek first, and there he crosses it again. And there was a lot of water in the creek and a lot of mud, and that mud got drug out on the rest of this section, and it became very slippery during the day.
It's slick, Charlie.
I think it got slick, Paul.
You can see on the side of this hill, it's very hard to maintain traction and keep from sliding.
Yeah, that's You made this part look really good.
Comes another rider up the creek. You can see there's a lot of mud right there, and it's real slick. You can see as you watch these riders that planning when you go over an obstacle as to how you're going to land after the obstacle is very important. Because where you wind up after you go over an obstacle determines how hard it's going to be to get through the next one. Here's our aggressive rider again. His tendency to go faster and have a little more momentum definitely helped him get out of that creek bed. Also helped him get across that muddy bank there. I had to put his foot down. Tried to accelerate just a little bit too much there. But that's only 1 point so far. And it gets over those. You can see the tires skid a little bit. It's real slick there. Okay, and since he's one of the expert riders, he has to make an extra maneuver there and go up that little hill there and down. And he comes out a little bit differently. Still a pretty good ride. Now this is an unusual section here. All these rocks are limestone. It's the bed of a big creek. And they have to go up this creek. This is very rough. And there's a big step about 2.5 feet tall right up there. You can see this fella had some momentum and he was able to make it. See, it's pretty rough. There's one dab. And another dab. That's not bad for a section that's that difficult. So far, so good. There, I think he cleaned that one. Here's a novice rider. He doesn't even have to go up that big bank. He has to turn the other way and just go up that muddy hill. Puts his foot down one time. Gets by with one dab. One dab. Here it comes to the big step. Oh, not quite enough momentum. That's a failure. He had to get off of his bike. This fellow uses a lot of body English and he works very hard. He does pretty well. He put his foot down one time there. So that's one dab. Two. Three. But hey, he made it. Here's looking down the creek from up near where the big step is. There was another clean ride. And this is the last section. This is a big ravine. It's so narrow that you can't hardly avoid putting your foot down occasionally. That's two, three.
Slickery, slickery.
At the end of the day, the rider with the fewest number of points lost is the one who wins. Within his riding class, of course.
there seems to be traction there.
Oh yeah.